Have you ever found yourself thinking about past choices and feeling like you could have acted differently? After 50, these thoughts can weigh even more heavily. But what if I told you there's a path to releasing regrets and finding true peace in just 30 days? Today, inspired by the teachings of Ram Dass, we'll explore how to let go of the weight of the past and live with ease. I want to hear from you. What regret would you most like to release? Share in the comments and let's grow together on this journey. Don't forget to like and subscribe to continue this conversation. Understanding the burden of regrets. There is a word that often lingers in the quiet corners of our hearts: remorse. To understand its weight, we must first see what it really is. Remorse is the painful awareness of something we wish we had done differently. It is not the same as guilt. Guilt is tied to a specific action we consider wrong. Remorse, however, is broader. It stretches into the space of what if and if only. While guilt can sometimes lead us to make amends, remorse tends to hold us in a cycle of reflection without resolution. As we move past the age of 50, the presence of remorse can grow stronger. Why? Because life naturally invites us to look back. The years behind us are no longer just beginnings and experiments. They are a record of choices, of paths taken and paths left unexplored. The mind turns to these chapters with a kind of insistence. We wonder about relationships we let fade, careers we did not pursue, family moments we missed, or health decisions we postponed. Perhaps you think about the partner you pushed away, the child you did not spend enough time with, the opportunities for kindness that slipped through your hands. Or maybe it is about your work, dreams you set aside, risks you never dared to take. And then there is the body. The exercise never done, the habits never changed, the care postponed until too late. These are the landscapes where remorse builds its home. But here is where the teachings of Ram Dass bring light. He reminds us that the past is not as solid as it seems. The past is a construction of the mind. It exists only as memory, replayed again and again, like an old film projected onto the screen of our consciousness. Each time we watch it, we feel the same weight, the same sorrow, as if it were happening again. Yet in truth, it is not happening now. The present moment is untouched by those old stories unless we carry them into it. Ram Dass taught that the challenge is not the past itself, but our attachment to it. The mind clings to remorse as if holding on to it could change what has already unfolded. But no matter how tightly we grip, the past remains the past. What imprisons us is not the event itself, but the loop of thought that repeats it. So the spiritual invitation is this: to release the burden, not by denying what happened, but by seeing it for what it is: memory, a shadow of an earlier moment passing through awareness. When you allow yourself to step back, you can see that you are not the remorse, you are not the story. You are the awareness that notices it, and awareness is free, spacious, and present. After 50, this truth becomes even more important. We are no longer being asked to race toward endless futures. Instead, life calls us to integrate, to rest in wisdom, to soften into presence. The practice is not about erasing the past, but about loosening the chains it has on our hearts. Every regret can become a doorway. Instead of "I should have," we can ask, what is alive here now? What lesson can open for me in this very moment? Ram Dass often said, "Be here now." In the light of remorse, this is more than a phrase, it is medicine. To be here now means to place your attention on the living breath, on the sensations of this body, on the truth that you are alive in this moment. The past cannot breathe. Only this moment breathes. Imagine how life changes when remorse is not your anchor but your teacher. When it rises, you acknowledge it, you bless it, and you release it. In that release, peace becomes possible, not in 30 years, not even in 30 days, but right now. So I ask you, do you feel that some remorse still weighs upon your life? What chapters of the past still visit you most often? Reflect gently. You may find that the very places where regret appears are the same places where compassion is waiting to grow. There is a quiet strength in learning to stop fighting the past. Many of us, especially after the age of 50, find ourselves replaying moments that cannot be changed. Words we wish we had spoken differently, decisions that could have taken us down another road, or opportunities we believe we missed. These memories can become a heavy weight. The first step toward releasing that weight is not to erase the past, but to accept it. Acceptance is not resignation. It is not saying that everything that happened was right or fair. Acceptance means we stop struggling against what has already been written. When we recognize the past as part of the story that shaped us, we open a doorway to peace in the present. This is where presence begins. Ram Dass, the beloved spiritual teacher, often reminded us with 3 simple words: be here now. Those words are a key, simple and direct, yet profound enough to unlock the prison of repetitive thoughts. When we are here, now, we are not trapped in yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's worries. We are breathing, alive and free in this very moment. How do we cultivate that presence? One of the simplest ways is through conscious breathing. Take a slow breath in, feel the air filling your chest, expanding your body. Then release it gently. Each breath is an anchor that brings you back to the present. When the mind drifts into regret or anxious planning, the breath calls us home. Alongside breathing, we can practice mindfulness in small, ordinary ways. When you drink your morning tea or coffee, pay attention to the warmth of the cup, the aroma rising, the taste as it touches your lips. When you walk, notice the rhythm of your steps, the ground supporting you. These simple acts, performed with awareness, dissolve the restless pull of thoughts about the past or future. Ram Dass taught that our minds are like unruly children. They wander, they resist, they replay the same stories again and again. Fighting them only makes them louder. The invitation is different. Observe without judgment. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and watch the flow of thoughts. Do not push them away. Do not chase them. Simply notice them as you might watch clouds drifting across the sky. Some will be dark and heavy, others will be light and passing, but all of them move on if you let them. To support this, imagine a gentle practice over the next 30 days. Each day, give yourself just a few minutes. Find a quiet place, sit comfortably, and close your eyes. Begin with a few deep breaths. Then simply observe. Notice the thoughts that rise up. Do not label them as good or bad. Do not cling to them or resist them. Just allow them to pass. Over time, you may discover that the thoughts lose their power. They come, they go, and you remain steady in the stillness beneath them. This 30-day journey is not about achieving perfection. It is not about emptying the mind completely or becoming someone else. It is about learning to live with more spaciousness, more compassion for yourself, and more presence in each moment. When we stop fighting the past, when we stop clinging to stories of regret, a gentle peace begins to emerge. The present moment reveals itself as enough, complete, alive, and rich with possibility. As Ram Dass reminded us again and again, be here now. Those words are not a command, but an invitation, a doorway we can walk through at any time. So as you begin this first step, acceptance and presence, remember to be gentle with yourself. The past will not vanish overnight. The mind will continue to wander, but each time you return to your breath, each time you observe without judgment, you are planting seeds of peace within your heart. And perhaps ask yourself this: have you ever tried simply observing your thoughts without fighting them? What was that experience like for you? There comes a moment in life, especially after we cross the threshold of 50, when the weight of the past feels heavier than ever. Choices made, words spoken, opportunities missed, they all return to us, sometimes like gentle whispers, and sometimes like storms that shake our inner peace. In those moments, the teachings of Ram Dass remind us of a simple but profound truth. Forgiveness is not only an emotional act, it is a spiritual doorway. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. We tend to think of it as something we do for someone else, an act of kindness to those who have wronged us. But in reality, forgiveness is an act of liberation for ourselves. It is a way of releasing the chains that bind our hearts to pain, resentment, and regret. Ram Dass taught that true freedom does not come from changing others or rewriting the past. It comes from shifting our own awareness, from loosening our grip on the stories we replay again and again. When we forgive others, we are not excusing their actions, nor are we erasing what happened. Instead, we are saying, I no longer allow this event to define my peace. Forgiveness becomes the practice of unclenching the fist of the heart, letting go of the tight hold we have on old wounds. In that release, we discover space for compassion, and in compassion we discover healing. But there is another dimension of forgiveness, perhaps even more difficult, that Ram Dass spoke about with tenderness: the forgiveness of ourselves. Many of us carry decades of remorse for things we did or failed to do. We replay conversations that cannot be changed. We revisit choices that feel irreversible. And yet, the truth is, the person we were then is not the person we are now. That younger self acted with the knowledge, the fears, the limitations of that time. To continue punishing ourselves is to hold a prisoner long after the sentence should have ended. Self-forgiveness is the act of opening the prison door and realizing we were both the jailer and the inmate. To begin this process, Ram Dass often guided people into simple inner practices. One of them is visualization. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the person or situation that still occupies your heart with heaviness. It could be a friend, a partner, a family member, or even yourself. Now picture this person held within your chest, as if they have been lodged in the space of your heart for years. With a gentle breath, imagine opening that space, as though you were unlocking a gate. And with every exhale, allow them to drift out of your chest, free to go where they belong, not forgotten, but no longer chained inside you. This visualization does not deny what happened, it simply allows your heart to breathe again. Modern science confirms what spiritual teachers like Ram Dass have said for decades. Holding on to resentment and anger places immense stress on the body. It tightens muscles, elevates blood pressure, and disrupts sleep. The body interprets these emotions as ongoing danger. Forgiveness, on the other hand, lowers that burden. When we let go, our nervous system begins to calm, our breath becomes deeper, and our body moves from defense into healing. In a very real way, forgiveness is medicine, not only for the soul, but for the physical body as well. And yet, forgiveness is rarely a single event. It is more often a practice, a rhythm we cultivate. Some days, the old resentment will rise again. That is not failure. It is simply another invitation to release. Ram Dass reminded us that the spiritual path is not about perfection, but about returning again and again to presence. Each time we notice the tightness in our hearts and choose to soften, we strengthen the muscle of forgiveness. So as you listen to these words, I invite you to reflect. What is one story, one name, one moment from your past that still lives in you like a weight? Imagine for just a moment that you could set it down, as if placing a heavy stone on the side of the road. Imagine the lightness that would follow, the peace that could finally flow into the empty space where resentment once lived. Forgiveness is not weakness. It does not mean forgetting. It does not mean you must return to harmful situations or allow the same wounds to repeat. Forgiveness is the recognition that you deserve freedom more than you deserve to keep carrying the burden of the past. As Ram Dass said so often, we are all just walking each other home. On that journey, forgiveness is the path that makes the walk lighter, softer, more filled with love. So I leave you with a question for your own reflection. What do you find more difficult, to forgive others or to forgive yourself? Your answer may reveal where your heart most needs healing. And perhaps tonight, as you rest, you can close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let one small piece of the past be released. Just one. Step by step, breath by breath, forgiveness opens the door. And behind that door, you may discover the peace that has always been waiting for you. There comes a moment in life, especially after the age of 50, when the weight of the past begins to speak louder than before. The mistakes, the choices not made, the words left unsaid, all of them gather in the silence of our mind and appear as remorse. And yet, Ram Dass taught us that the past is not meant to be a prison. It is meant to be a teacher. Regret is not the enemy. It is a signal, a reminder that we are still alive and still capable of growth. To hold on to regret, however, is to freeze a living moment into a permanent judgment. We say to ourselves, I should have done better. I should have chosen differently. And in doing so, we lock ourselves inside a story that no longer exists. But what if we changed the perspective? What if we could meet the past, not with shame, but with curiosity? Each moment we now call a mistake once represented the very best choice we could make, given our level of awareness at that time. Ram Dass often reminded us that we are all just walking each other home. Every step, even the stumbling ones, are part of that journey home to ourselves. Let us take a simple practice. Think of a regret that has followed you for years. Perhaps it is a relationship you wish you had nurtured. Perhaps it is a career decision that now feels like a missed opportunity. Instead of replaying the scene as failure, try to rewrite it in the language of learning. Ask yourself, what did this experience teach me about who I am? Maybe it showed you the importance of honesty. Maybe it revealed your longing for love. Maybe it was a painful way of reminding you that life is fragile and that presence matters more than achievement. This act of rewriting the story does not erase the past. It transforms its meaning. The energy once trapped in regret becomes fuel for wisdom. To make this real, I invite you to a simple exercise. Sit down with pen and paper and write a letter to yourself. Address the younger version of you who made that choice you now regret. Speak to them with kindness, not blame. Write, I see the pain you carried. I see the decision you made. And I now understand what you were trying to learn. Thank you for showing me the value of truth or of patience or of compassion. In this way, you turn the page without tearing it out of the book of your life. Ram Dass believed that every experience, even the most painful, is a doorway to awakening. The heartbreak, the loss, the regret, they are not accidents. They are invitations. Invitations to step more deeply into love, into presence, into the truth that nothing was wasted. When you stop judging your past and start listening to it, you will see that your soul has been teaching you all along. Imagine, for a moment, instead of being haunted by what could have been, you feel guided by what was. The same event, the same memory, but now carrying a different vibration, no longer a prison but a teacher. This is the alchemy of spiritual growth. And as you look back over the landscape of your life, you may begin to notice that every so-called mistake prepared you for this very moment of awareness. Without those detours, you would not be here now, listening, reflecting, ready to embrace life with new clarity. So the next time regret arises, pause, place your hand on your heart, breathe, And whisper to yourself, this too is my teacher. As we age, the gift is not only in the wisdom we carry, but also in the compassion we can extend, first to ourselves and then to others. You cannot offer forgiveness if you have not practiced it within. You cannot truly guide another if you have not walked through your own shadows with humility. This is the path Ram Dass pointed to, seeing every experience as part of the journey home. The home is not a place. It is the recognition that you are enough, that your story is sacred, and that nothing has been wasted. Now I ask you, if you could take just one regret and transform it into a valuable lesson, which one would it be? Let that question settle within you, and may your answer open the door to peace. Imagine waking up tomorrow with a lighter heart, no longer haunted by the weight of regrets. Imagine giving yourself permission to release the heavy memories that keep returning, and to step into a new season of life, one rooted in peace. After the age of 50, this invitation becomes even more meaningful. We look back at choices, at relationships, at missed opportunities, and sometimes at words we wish we had spoken or moments we wish we had lived differently. But as the teacher Ram Dass reminds us, the past is not a prison. It is a teacher. And peace is not the absence of history, but the conscious decision to stop carrying it as a burden. This video is an invitation, a challenge to spend the next 30 days living in peace. Not by erasing your story, but by learning to meet it with acceptance, forgiveness, and presence. The practices are simple, yet powerful, and if you stay with them each day, you may notice a gentle transformation, like a weight being lifted, one breath at a time. The power of small daily practices. When we think about change, it is easy to imagine something dramatic, but lasting peace often begins with the smallest of rituals. A few minutes of stillness, a single sentence written in a journal, a conscious breath taken during a walk. These are not grand gestures, they are seeds. Each seed, when planted daily, begins to reshape the way we meet our own mind. Acceptance. Each morning, take a moment to simply acknowledge what is present. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and allow your thoughts and feelings to arise without resistance. Ram Dass taught, be here now. This is not about approving of the past or trying to change it. It is simply about being willing to witness it. When we practice acceptance, we loosen the grip of self-judgment. We remind ourselves, life has unfolded exactly as it has, and we are still here, still capable of love. Forgiveness. Each evening, give yourself space to practice forgiveness. This may mean forgiving someone else. It may mean forgiving yourself. Visualize the person or the situation and imagine releasing them from your heart. Let them walk away in peace. Feel the space this leaves inside of you. Forgiveness is not about condoning what happened. It is about freeing your own spirit from the endless cycle of blame and resentment. As Ram Dass said, the heart surrenders everything to the moment. Forgiveness is an act of surrender. Presence. Throughout the day, bring awareness to the simplest activities. While walking, notice the sensation of your feet touching the ground. While eating, truly taste your food. While speaking with a friend, offer your full attention. Presence is the medicine that heals the restless mind. When you are present, regrets cannot reach you, because regret lives only in memory, not in this living moment. Simple rituals to anchor the journey. To support these 3 practices, consider adding small daily rituals. A short meditation of 5 minutes in the morning, a gratitude journal where you write 3 things each evening, a conscious walk in nature where you let silence guide you. These rituals may seem small, but they create a rhythm, a structure that reminds you day after day that peace is not an accident. It is cultivated. Building a community of peace transformation deepens when it is shared, As you begin this 30-day journey, I encourage you to share your reflections in the comments. Tell us about the first step you are taking. Share what practice resonates most with you. By opening up, you not only support your own journey, but you also help create a circle of connection, a community of people learning to live with greater peace after 50. No one has to walk this path alone. When you speak your experience, others recognize themselves in your words. Together we create encouragement, accountability, and shared hope, choosing peace, not the past. At the end of 30 days, you may find that your regrets have not vanished completely. They may still whisper from time to time. But what changes is your relationship with them. Instead of being chains, they become reminders, signposts of growth. Instead of holding you back, they point you toward compassion. The real freedom lies not in erasing what has happened, but in choosing not to carry its weight any longer. Peace is not found by escaping life. It is found by embracing it fully, and then setting down what no longer serves the heart. So here is the invitation. Live the next 30 days with acceptance, forgiveness, and presence. Watch how even the smallest rituals shift your energy. Notice how the heaviness of remorse begins to dissolve into the lightness of understanding. If this message has brought you clarity, support the channel by liking this video, sharing it with someone who might need it, and leaving a comment about your first step in letting go of remorse. Together, we can turn the past into a teacher and the present into a place of peace.